Hello, and we are back. We're going to be doing arithmetic sequences today. You'll notice here's a sequence, 7, 10, 13, 16. What do you think the next term is here? Yeah, 19. What about the next one? 22. Good job. Each time, what are you doing to get to the next term? You're adding 3. Good job. And that's what an arithmetic sequence is. We're adding a constant each time to get to the next. Now, if I wanted what's called the general term, or the nth term, or the explicit formula, okay? That would be the explicit formula for this. Here's the idea. Notice that here, n equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All that means is this is the first term. This is the second term. This is the third term. That's what that means. Okay? So this is what's called the common difference here. 3 is the common difference. All right? Also known as D. Okay, and so to find the explicit formula, I think it's really easy to do this. What you do is you find what's called the 0th term, what I like to call the 0th term. And so if you add 3 to go to the right here, what you'd do is you'd minus 3 to go to the left. So 7 minus 3 would be 4. Okay, so the general term is just going to be what's called u sub n. All right. And it's the first term plus n minus 1 times d. That's the formula that you're given in the IB Math Studies formula packet. I like to do a little quicker way, actually, than using this formula. Okay? I like to say that all it is the common difference, d, in this case 3, and that's the coefficient of n, and then the 0th term, and we slap it on the end, boom. And that's the explicit formula, the nth term, the general term, okay? And let's just double check it. Here's how you check it, okay? So let's say we know the 6th term is 22. That means u sub 6 is 3 times, u sub 6 is 3 times 6 plus 4. So that is 18 plus 4, which is 22. You see how that works? So then I could, if I wanted to, find, say, the 51st term, u sub 51. That would be 3 times 51 plus 4, right? That would be 153 plus 4. So that is 157. That would be the 51st term. Does that make sense? So now you go ahead and try one. I'm going to give you a sequence. It's going to go like this: 53, 44, 35. Okay? And I want you to find, oh, look at that, there it is. I want you to find u sub n, the general term, and I want you to find the 19th term. Okay? So go ahead and pause the video and see if you can find these two things. Pause it now. Okay, so go ahead and check your answers. Hopefully it looks good here with how we found the general term and then the 19th term, or u sub 19. Now there's one other skill that I want to talk about, and that's if it gets a little bit more complicated. Let's say that, we're going to skip that. Let's say that you are given, say, I don't know, the 19th term is 451, and the, say, 23rd term is 495, okay? So understand that, of course, the 19th term and the 23rd term are just separated by a certain number of these common differences. This is another arithmetic sequence, of course, so the idea would be that we would use, it's a good idea to use the general formula from, again, if you're in IB Math Studies, from the formula booklet at this point. where if we use this formula, we can plug in what we know. We know that u sub 19 is u sub 1 plus 19 minus 1 times d. We don't know what d is. We don't know what u sub 1 is, but we also know this. U sub 23, right, is u sub 1 plus 23 minus 1 times d, right? So that means we could rewrite each one of these, right? This is this, and whoops, and let's see where we are. I just jumped up there, sorry about that. And this is this, right? So if we have 451 is u sub 1 plus 18d, right? And then also 495 is u sub 1 plus 22d, right? So we have two equations, two unknowns. Now you could, if you have your fancy graphic calculator, you could plug this in and just solve it. But we can also just do it by hand, not a big deal. We can eliminate u sub 1 and just solve for d here, right? We could do the top minus the bottom. All right, so that's going to be negative 44 equals, these cancel out, negative 4d, right? So divide by negative 4, and d is 11 in this case. Pretty straightforward, right? And then once we get d, what we're doing is we're plugging it back into either one of these to figure out what u sub 1 is. So let's plug it back into the first one. We have 451 equals u sub 1 plus 18 times 11, right? So 451 is u sub 1 plus, what is that, 198, I believe. Okay, so then that's going to be 253. So u sub 1 is 253. All right, so we found d, and we found u sub 1, given the 19th term and the 23rd term. It might also ask for the general term at that point. So u sub 1, again, we're just going to plug into this formula. We're going to plug into this formula with d and with u sub 1. So we have u sub n equals 253 plus n minus 1 times 11, right? And we can simplify that a little bit. 253 plus 11n minus 11. So that's just u sub n equals 253, or excuse me, I'm going to combine these two here. So I will erase that, and I will say u sub n equals 253 minus 11 is 242. So it's just 11n plus 242. All right. So I found the first term, I found d, I found the general term given these two terms, the 19th and the 23rd, in this example. All right. So let's see if you can try one where you find the general term. Okay, if I say that the 53rd term is 11 and the 59th term is negative 19. See if you can find what the general term is, u sub n. Go ahead and pause the video now and unpause it to see the answer. Okay, pause it now. Okay, so folks, I hope this helps. I put the two equations up here, the 53rd and the 59th, and then I was able to solve the system. I actually wrote out multiplying by negative 1 here, so the u sub 1's cancel out. I solved for d, which was negative 5, plugged that back into one of the two equations, doesn't matter which one, I chose the first one to solve for u sub 1, and then I plugged that back into the original formula to simplify it a little bit to get u sub n equals negative 5n plus 276 in this case. So I hope that helps you with dealing with arithmetic sequences a bit, and we will see you next time. Take care.